Hi, friends. I wanted to share with you sort of an impromptu wrap that I did while I was on my trip. If you follow me over on Instagram, you might have seen some of the photos that I posted from the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland, which are just a really stunning, natural cliffside with these beautiful formations. And so the funny story is that I was in Ireland with my family on vacation. And the day that we were going there, we were driving from one city to another, and it was sort of on our way. So this was really our only opportunity to see it. And as we're driving up and as we're walking into the visitor center, it is just, we are getting bucketed down in rain. There's fog. You can't see 5 feet in front of your face. And I thought, oh, for sure, we're not going to be able to see a thing when we get to the cliff top. And we went into the visitor center, watched a little video on the cliffs, and by the time we came out, the skies had cleared and we had the most beautiful weather, stunning views for the rest of the afternoon. Now, because the weather had been so terrible, I actually hadn't bothered wrapping that day because I figured I'm just going to have my raincoat on and it stays on better when I don't have a wrap. So I hadn't done anything. And then I get to the top of the cliffs and I think, oh, I really want to take some photos here. So I had to very quickly throw on a wrap, and this is what I did. So, if you can wrap it standing at the top of a cliff in the wind, can't be that complicated. It's a little bit more unfinished than a lot of the looks that I typically wear for what I think is pretty obvious reasons. But I'm going to start with the Rapunzel signature scarf. This is in dark brown, I think. And so while we were up there, so I wanted to do a sheer tails. And so that's what I'm going to start with. And I didn't even really fold it under. When I did, I just kind of wrapped it and then gathered at the back of my neck. Because as I said, I was standing at the top of a cliff in the wind with no mirror. So I'm going to try and get the appropriate amount for sheer tails. And I just brought it straight across, even though ordinarily I would probably choose to angle this. And does that look right? Yeah, that looks about right. What I need for sheer tails. So I'm just going to tie it in on the back of my head with the end coming out lower here. And then I did some really quick pleating as fast as I could get it done. Because, if you can imagine me doing this in the wind, but I really do, with the pleating, want to show off all of those beautiful colors in this scarf. And then that is going to come up and over like so. And then I'm going to pull it through the little pocket that I have over here. And so this was the first look that I did at the top of the cliffs, and miraculously, it came out nice and even, just the way that it did there. And this is a beautiful little sheer tails look. I'll do a quick 360 so that you can see all the angles of it. But it turns out that when you are standing at the top of a cliff in the wind, having long tails out like this is not optimal. For photos, certainly, or just in general, because they keep whipping into your face. And so I very quickly decided that I needed to do something else. And so I just took each end and twisted them and tried, to the extent that I could to get as much of the different colors in there. And then I brought them up at the top of my head, gave them a little cross, a little knot, and then again, to really try and keep the wind blowing to a minimum, wrapped it around thusly, and had just the teенsiest bit dangling out like that. And same thing on this side. Wrap it around until you run out of scarf. And that's it. And I actually really loved the way that it looked. I love the way that the photos came out. So this is what it looks like from the front, side, the back, and the other side. So there it is, my little mini story time Cliffs of Moher wrap. That's a wrap for me. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.